Hey guys, long time no see. I hope everyone is doing well today. Today we're going to be going live with Sabrina from 0 to 180 Store Market in Morristown, New Jersey. We're going to be talking about all things zero waste. We're going to be talking about her store, and it's going to be a great session today. And I really hope you guys are into zero waste and just learning more about small business today. And I'm going to be waiting for them to join in. Hello, hello. Hey, plant-like things. Yeah, so be sure to check her out. I'm going to pin actually what we're going to be talking about. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. If you guys haven't had a moment to check out our newest episode with Juliana Forci, we talked about mushrooms, mushroom foraging and everything like that. So yeah, I'm just gonna be going live. Hey, Sabrina, welcome.
Hi, how are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. It's my first
Yeah.
time doing this actually.
Oh, welcome, welcome. Yeah, it's okay. It takes a while to get into it, but yeah, thank you so much. I'm just waiting for Liz to join
Yeah,
in. Here's Liz.
hi. Hi, Sabrina. How's it going? Hi. Yeah, we're excited to chat with you today.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
so we're all in different places. So I'm in LA, Sabrina's in New Jersey, and Laura's in Madrid, Spain.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we wanted to talk to you today, and we love to, feature small businesses. And Liz told me she met you during her road trip around the country. So yeah, I'd love to hear more about your store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Liz and I got in contact via Instagram, the best social media thing ever, right?
Right.
Yeah, so it was great. I think you may have like in your travels looked up zero waste, and then somehow like we've connected just like out of the blue, and it just worked out that way.
Yeah. Yeah, so amazing. Yeah, so tell us about your journey, like we're really here to learn about you, Sabrina, your path to like the zero waste lifestyle living and also opening your store. So what makes zero waste different from conventional stores and why is like refill, important?
So 0180 Market, the reason it's a bit different than others around here, which there are far in between, is because I've tried to bridge both pantry items and a wellness and home items, so it can be a one-stop shop for pretty much everyday essentials. So what I've done is things that I need, and I do some research and find small zero waste companies and manufacturers that can basically support what I'm looking for. So that's pretty much how I think it differs than the other ones. It's definitely smaller, and the other thing I like to do is, as a consumer, uh, really hone in onto not having too many options, because I think having so many options, especially a new lifestyle, definitely changes your output and it confuses you. So having minimal um, room for decisions and just one variable there, then it really helps, ease into this lifestyle.
Right, for sure. Nice,
Yeah,
very
I like
cool.
that actually. Yeah, because usually when you go to the store, you're so overwhelmed with choices, and
Yeah,
usually people just go for the cheapest option, I feel like.
right.
So, if it's like paying a better price for it to be refilled, like in an old container or whatever, it's okay because you know that, it's worth the money. But it's like if it's just a simple decision, maybe they won't overthink it.
Exactly. So I kind of like have a little psychological play in there too.
Nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It takes time for people to learn, to adapt, and just kind of adopt this different way of like living, like you said, right?
For
So
sure.
how long have you been shopping refill or zero waste and like what was your, I guess, conscious shopping story?
So my journey actually is literally had started a year ago. It was during
Okay.
COVID,
Wow.
and I used to travel a lot for work. So during my travels, you don't really realize the difference, or how much waste you consume and create. So when you were stuck at home in a standstill during the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
there were so many different, I guess, like activities to do to get your day to go by faster, right? So like recipes to try, et cetera, et cetera. So at that time, it was like everything was closed. So you had to do things by pickup, curbside. So you would have to buy whatever they had options of. So really, I think this really triggered it was like the whole banana bread trend that was happening. So
Mm-hmm.
like I was like, okay, cool. Like I don't even like to bake. I'm actually a terrible baker. Um, it's too rule by the book for me. I like to jazz it up a bit. So when I was doing this banana bread and I was like, wait, what do I do with the rest of the flour? Because again, I don't bake. So that's when I was just like, huh, this is interesting. I this is when I kind of, really looked into options of refilleries and what honestly I didn't know what zero waste was until COVID hit.
Wow,
So
yeah.
um
Your
that
journey is, yeah, so your journey is relatively new as well.
and because I'm a person who like really likes to take risks, and if I'm going to commit, I'm going to commit. Um, the problem was there weren't really options in Jersey to become low to zero waste. So for me, it's like, my mantra is like, if you can't find it, you better do it yourself. So that's really how this came about. Um, I felt like if I'm who is so new to this lifestyle is looking for a tool such as this, I'm sure people who have been in this
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle has been looking for something along these lines as well.
Yeah.
Or people who are
Yes.
trying to be a part of this lifestyle but can't because they're constrained.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so cool. And I love how you mentioned that you're a risk taker because I feel like to get out of our comfort zone, like with buying so many like bottles and packages and everything, we have to take a big risk, right? And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, we have to take the risk to like stop all the waste in the landfills, as you mentioned in your poster behind you.
Uh,
So, yeah.
a little branding here for you.
Yeah, so it's really inspiring.
Yeah. And honestly, like I'm not completely zero waste. Like again, I just like learned about this and I'm learning as I'm growing the business. So for me, I'm still trying to be as much as I can. And with that, there's, a lot of pain points, things that work for me don't work for me. So I'm assuming the same goes for a lot of other people. But what I want to, so a lot of people like have this misconception that going low to zero waste, you're kind of like grunging it a little bit, right?
Mm.
Like I kind of like want to make it trendy and make it fashionable because you can. It doesn't have to be like this like grungy thought process. It's like, okay, like composting, yeah, it's like sometimes it takes a bit to get like used to, but after it becomes a habit. Um, things
Sure.
like that. So there are a lot of little things, or like paper towels. Like I have like emergency napkins as backup because I've had it for a while, but I use like the ones from here, which are kitchen towels, reusable ones, and like it's funny because a lot of people find it odd when they come to my house, like I don't have paper towels, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. For me, it's like not weird, but I guess for other people not used to that, it's odd for them.
Yes. Yeah, just that slow transition, like we said, right? It's just adapting and I think zero waste is going to continue to evolve. It's been like I think it's kind of been a thing for like I feel like it's really been happening for the last like 10 to 15 years, like these refill stores and just kind of like that kind of awareness, and the products are starting to match. But what's cool about like your store is that you have some products that like other stores don't carry, and I feel like it's kind of unique to your store. But
Mm-hmm.
how did you decide, so you decided to open your store in Morristown? What made you open there, and were there any other cities that you were considering?
So I live in Morristown.
Got it. Okay.
So for me, it's like, all right, um, again, it was during the pandemic, so I'm just like, I need something accessible. And then the town in itself is, it's like a sub city, so there's a lot of movement, diversity when it comes to age and things like that. So I thought it was a good test town. Especially during COVID, a lot of New Yorkers moved out here because of they tried to
Yeah.
get out of the city. So I thought this was a perfect town for me because I'm like, oh, well, I'm 7 minutes walking distance from here. And it's a good demographic for me to test everything. So that's why I chose Morristown.
That's
Very cool.
awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And for anyone that's watching, I might not know about Morristown. Tell us, so, like, what's the vibe in Morristown?
Oh, the vibes. Okay, so it's like old school meets new school kind of deal. So, I mean, there are good restaurants. It's like a little downtown area. You do hear like fire trucks at night and things like that, and ambulance. So it has that city vibe to it, but not really. It has a train station, which is great. There's a lot of, like I said, a lot of New Yorkers that came out. So there's a lot of like development happening. And at nighttime, there's a nightlife, which is nice. So there's like new age people out here. So like a lot of times when I like, go out and I meet like these like people, I'm like, hey, like I have a zero waste. Like honestly, when I go out, that's like my promotion time because I'm like,
Word of mouth.
exactly. So like I meet these people, I'm like, hey, it's like that's my store right there. Because like there's actually I have like 3 bars. I'm in between 3 bars right now, so a lot of traffic here. Um, but when I tell them, they're so intrigued because they're like, wait, I've never heard of this. And like, I've never heard of this like lifestyle, but they want to do something for the environment. So it's kind of, it works in my favor to like go out and have fun and then also meet people and tell them about the store. So it's a cool vibe. And I get a lot of people who like, people who've been here for a while who've never heard of such a business. They're intrigued. So it's like a really good, it's a good test for me to see demographically, as well as like now I have a lot of regulars, which is great.
So awesome. Yeah, Danielle just said love 0 to 180. She's obviously a fan, so that's cool. Well, hey Danielle. That's so cool. So I'd love to know, so for example, like if I am a new like zero waste shopper, right? So how can I like break that pattern, right? Like what do I prepare? Like what do I bring? What do I need to budget out to shop zero waste? Like what kind of containers? Like how do I even start?
So it's funny you asked that because someone just DM'd me today and was like, can I bring like my old or like my empty plastic shampoo bottle? And I'm like, yeah, bring whatever you want. The whole idea is to reuse anything and everything. It does not necessarily have to be glass. It can be whatever you'd like. So we offer here like new jars as well as reusable ones. So people can donate their glass jars here and it gets sanitized and then it's up for grabs for free. And that really goes. Like people really use that because some people walk in here, have nothing, and then I don't push them to buy new ones because obviously I'd rather you guys use the ones that people bring in. And then we do offer like bags and things for other purposes. And then for our loose eggs, people donate their empty cartons or they'll bring their empty cartons and get their loose eggs. So the other thing I've done is I put all my inventory online. So when you plan, and if you, well, when you come in, you can plan in advance of your containers. So I'm trying to think, the most effective way for people to transition into this lifestyle by giving these tools of having it online. You don't have any restrictions as to what kind of container you bring, as long as it's reusable. And the whole purpose is for us to lessen our consumption and packaging waste. So that's really the way you want to go into it. There's no wrong answer here. It's just like some people, for example, when they get like, at Walmart, they'll have that big container of almonds, the plastic, and they'll
Yeah.
bring it here and refill it. And that's totally fine. There's no wrong.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that, like the little section that you have like for people to donate glass jars, because when I was traveling I drove from LA to New Jersey, and along the way I needed to refill things. Like I was using Dr. Bronner's on my face for like a week because I ran out of face stuff and my face was so dry, and I was like, all right, I gotta find a refill store. I found a refill store in Nashville, and I didn't want to buy more glass because I have so much already. And she
Right.
had a little section that was already cleaned, already sanitized, and I was like, oh my God, this is perfect. So I was able to use a bottle from there. And so that's such a good little feature to have in like your store, and to encourage people that like maybe they show up and they're like overwhelmed, like what do I do? How do I refill? Oh, they could just take one of your bottles.
Right, exactly. And I
Yeah.
think seem to forget, like you can recycle all you want, but in the end, only 9% really gets recycled. So this is truly recycling. Like you're really,
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we need to just kind of reprogram ourselves because, like on social media, you see like so much of like consumption, like, okay, like what I bought today. But it's like I think we need to like do social media and like reversal to being like, okay, what did I like donate today? Or like what did I upcycle? Or, I feel like, or even how to just, for example, cleaning your glass jars and like bringing them to, a zero waste containers, I mean, a shop store. So I feel like that would be such a good way to like our generation to like open up more and change our patterns, I think,
I feel like
Yeah.
one of the cool things I have here is I work with a local candle maker, and we've come up with this program where you can bring your empty candle jars and donate it, and she refills it. So there's no reason to throw away that jar and or buy something fresh.
So
Where you
cool. Wait, so I can also bring like the candles that come in jars. So like if I have like this candle, like I could take this candle and they would reuse the jar and the candle?
yeah.
What? So cool. I love that.
I'm really trying to like again, I try to think like I love candles, but again,
Yeah.
it's like I what do I do with this empty jar? And then she's already she was doing these candles for me anyway, and I was like, let's kind of create this program, and that's
Yeah.
really how it happened. So like I try to like work with like locals here as much as I can. So another thing is like I have a CSA program here because originally I was thinking maybe I'll bring produce, but I don't have enough foot traffic, especially during the
Mm,
summer, to hold produce and not go to waste. And like obviously that defeats the purpose.
yeah.
So what I've done is worked with a local farm to do CSA pickup, which is great because then they get the list of what they have in their box for the week. They can get the groceries that they need to if they want to, experiment with different flavors. They don't have to buy the whole bottle. So there's a lot of different options that I'm working with.
Very cool. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I love that you're just doing all the different things and making your store dynamic, right? Not just like about like zero waste refill, but also picking up CSA and doing like the candle recycling program. I love
Mm.
that. So I would love to know. I kind of want to was gonna say if you could show us around the store before we go to our next question.
Yeah, let me show you around. Oh, okay, so
Yeah.
this is new for me, right? Hold on. All right, cool. So this is the entrance way. So here we have composting options. So these are home units. Yeah, um, this is made out of terracotta and this
Oh.
plastic. And then this here is a subscription model for those like because Morristown has a lot of apartment buildings, so they come
Mm-hmm.
pick it up from your home. And then here is a cold brew on tap. You can get a bottle or
Wow.
yeah. So a lot of and these are for free because they're topless. So if they want coffee, and then you walk in here, you have a bunch of spices,
Amazing. I want to go
more
there right now.
spices. I know, right? Flowers, and they're all labeled as such, right? Like if it's organic, non-GMO, vegan. You have coffees. These are the ones you can purchase, and these are the ones that are for free.
Perfect.
And then over here is all the oils, extracts, honey, sugar. And then the next room. So now, mind you, this used to be a beauty shop, and I'm here temporarily, so I just kept the rooms.
Okay.
So this right here, it's Chumami. They are local to Chester and around here, and what they do is they take back the jars, and
So
then
good.
yeah, and then we have like your nuts, legumes, all that. You have your grains, pastas, more
And
flour. These are the egg
pasta.
cartons. And then you have
Wow.
pastas.
That's so badass.
Yeah.
And then you have your dried fruit, a big seller, these mangoes. And
Nice.
then over here you have your loose eggs, maple syrup. I have a cheese recycling program. They put a deposit on the actual jar, and then they can grab cheese. And then more snacks, teas, more snacks. These cards are cool. They're greeting cards that you can plant once you're done. These are options like, instead of using saran wrap for bowl covers, Ziploc bags, lunch boxes, she takes old textile and creates pouches. This is where I was saying about the candles. So those are all the recycled ones, and they're great. And then you have your soaps and stuff. And then in this room is all your wellness stuff. So you have your cleaners, dish soap, surface cleaner, hand soap, hand sanitizer, dental, makeup, women's health.
Wow.
And a lot of that stuff is in compostable packaging. So like paper
Yep.
things that you could throw in the compost.
Facial, like this is one of my favorite products. I'm sure you guys know what this is. It's a konjac sponge. I love them. And then you have your body care, hair care, more hair care, baby section, laundry. This is only unique to us. This is a vegan dryer ball. It's made out of bamboo
I
versus
know, I
wool.
really want one of those. Those are so that's super unique to you guys. I haven't seen that
Yeah.
anywhere else.
These are soap nuts. I just got them. Laundry detergent paper, laundry concentrate. This is local. She's out of Jersey City, and she hand woves these, which are great. And then there's the paper towels, some liquid shower gel, body Castile oils, dish soap, THC-free products, and solids.
Wow. Your store is fully loaded. That's so inspiring.
I know. It's a hold on, let me flip this.
Yeah.
Hold on,
Yeah,
let me get
take
back.
your time. Take your time.
Yeah. Yeah, I try to get as much as as much as I can when it comes to everyday essentials.
Yes. And so you decide you want to open this store. What are the first steps that you take? Like what's the first things you lay out to get the store started?
So it's like I think that's like a there's a lot of layers. First is what I'm going to hold, how much I want to expand. When it comes to product line, so I started with 80 products. I'm up to 300.
Amazing.
So it's all I didn't want to overwhelm also myself as well as my customers. And then really marketing is huge too. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not good at social media stuff. It's not my thing. Personal stuff maybe, I can troll and things like that, but I can't actually do marketing. So that I'm more of a supply chain. So I can get you the product. I don't know how to get it to the customer. So it's it's a challenge, but I'm working on it.
You're doing it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So really just what products I want to bring in was the first thing, and really where I wanted to go, right? Because during COVID, real estate wanted a 5 to 10 year lease, and I just happened to look out on this one, and this is just a short-term lease for me, and because it's a new lifestyle, it helped me with taking that risk, because I'm making sure that people are first into it before I really commit into getting a bigger space and yada yada yada.
So cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I know there's always some challenges, obviously opening a new store, getting your investment back, all those things. But you're obviously becoming such a big influence in the community. So I guess it's worth the risk. And yeah, success leaves clues, right? And what are some of the hints of success that you've gotten, reviews and what people have said and how it's, changed their life or impacted their life somehow that keeps you going?
Yeah, so I definitely think I love seeing my regulars. That's great because clearly it's working for them. But I also love seeing new people. So especially older generations, they're just wow, this is so cool. I used to shop like this back in the day, and da 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 da. So it's really nice to see that. So that customer experience is really clutch, because I feel having them into this lifestyle, and being open-minded, especially somebody who's new into it, is all about that customer experience. That's why I don't have that many options. That's why I do only everyday essentials and not the, you know, things that you can do without, right? So reviews are great, follows are great, but what's the best is when people keep coming in, you know, and
Repeat
really
customers.
people who've never composted before. Like one of my customers came yesterday, she bought her own home unit and she's like, I have soil now. I'm like, that's awesome. Like, you know, those are cool. Like you never would think that would happen. And then you try it and it's like working for you and you're learning as you go along. So it's great.
Yeah, and do you spend time with each customer that comes in, just kind of, since it might be overwhelming for them, do you kind of allocate some extra time for them?
Yeah. So in the beginning, yes, because I was here 24/7.
Oh.
And as you know, I do work full time. So now I'm here 2 days a week. And when I am, of course, I'm all about it and I tell them products. But for the most part, in the beginning, because that was fairly now that I go to the office. But in the beginning, I was there all the time. And I love to take them on a tour and be like, well, like exactly how I did with you guys. Like, this is my favorite product. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I didn't think anything of it. So it's a lot of things. Because when you get, the video says a lot. When you get in here, there is a lot of stuff you want to take your time and look through.
Yeah.
That's really special. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. The slow culture. You know, we need that back into our existence, especially
Yeah.
with consumerism.
Yeah, and so you started off with the 80 products, right? How did you decide, did you try them all or did you already know like you had some brands and some products in mind?
So when it comes to food stuff, I already knew. Because I cook, so I'm like, all right, this like you need
Yes.
pepper, you need rice, you need pasta, you need all that jazz.
Yeah.
So food wise, like the only thing like I was hesitant about was coffee, which I now have, and like snacks, which I now have. But other than that, it was pretty an easy understanding. The hard part was the wellness room,
Yeah.
because again, I was also learning simultaneously as getting things for the store. So was I trying out things? For sure. For example, like shampoo bars, conditioner bars, like I use that now. So it was cool to test it and see what I like the most. And then I have like other options now. Like you have liquid concentrate, those who are not into the bars. So I've tried them all. Have I tried every single product? Not necessarily, but
Okay.
I go with my gut and I do heavy research on the brands that I choose to put in. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so that's really where I understand where to purchase items from. Also, my real life job is supply chain, so it kind of works hand in hand to
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
brands and things.
Yeah, and that's the hardest part I feel like for a small business is, finding the product to sell and quality product, and understanding that you're a small business, right? You're not like Whole Foods.
Right. So it's funny you mentioned that. A lot of people who come in here, they're like, how do you compare to Whole Foods? I'm like, I will never compare to an Amazon conglomerate. Like, that will never happen for you.
Yeah.
But I will say when you like buy spices and stuff like that, it's significantly cheaper because you're really paying for that packaging, not actual
Mm-hmm.
product.
Yeah. Oh, that's a
Mm-hmm.
good point to put. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for sharing
Mm-hmm.
that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I'd love to know, like, so to continue down this path of like somebody wants to start a refill store, like how do they conceptualize what their store is going to look like? How did you decide what type of containers you were going to use? Like all that type of, the little details when it comes to zero waste. Those details are important because people are going to come into your store and be like, all right, I want to refill on this or I want to refill on that.
So actually, this whole store is funded by myself.
Wow.
So, of course, you know, when you are thinking of the containers you need, that all goes into your startup costs, right? However, I lucked out, and honestly, I think it's the stars were aligned. So I went onto Facebook Marketplace, and unfortunately, at the time, a lot of businesses were going out. And
Mm.
I happened to luck out and got all my containers secondhand. And
Amazing.
Wow.
it was I can't even tell you like how much it saved when it came to my startup costs, because these are normally thousands of dollars, and because I got a second hand, and it also made me feel good because it's like not going to waste, right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
reusing it.
Yeah.
So of course, when you start, you have to put all these different costs into play. Um, and then if you luck out and find something on Facebook Marketplace, amazing. But it's all about taking that risk, knowing the costs, and being realistic. That's really like cutting corners can get you so far.
Mm-hmm.
But what I've done is, because I worked in supply chain, I mean, I work in supply chain, I know when it comes to like packaging and things like that, how I wanted it, what made it the most sense, and um, be cost effective, and how it
Yeah.
would store. Because the whole idea is I also looked for inspo in like in the UK. They have multiple stores. They have stores in, you know, Asia parts, and it's always minimalistic. So um,
Mm-hmm.
I knew I wanted a clean look, and I just happened to look out with this, you know, getting it from Facebook Marketplace, but also understanding logically when someone comes in and they're looking for, let's just say, you know, turmeric. I'm not going to have a big thing of turmeric. I'm going to have a pour over, because they're going to always get the small amount. So I had to like really think through every product and
Mm-hmm.
how I was going to merchandise it and how it was going to be accessible to the customer at
Yeah.
each. But again, you know,
Yeah.
there were cars. There were sometimes I was like, you know, like the gravity bins, the ones that are on the wall. Like sometimes I put like it was a little bit thicker than flour and it would get stuck. So there was a lot of learning curve. Of course, I've
Mm-hmm.
never been into the grocery or supermarket or whatever business you would call this, but like, so it was a learning curve for sure.
Yeah. That's fascinating because
Friends and
I,
friends and family to help, because my friends helped me so much setting this up.
wow.
Yes. Shout out
Yeah,
to all for the supportive friends and family that are
Friends.
always got
yeah.
our backs, you know?
Get them to help.
Yeah.
Um, you just pay them with dinners.
Yeah. Yeah, I was looking at your store and I was like, wow, those plastic bins, like they seem like those would be a lot of like the cost of startup. But you know, I think it really is full circle since you already got like regifted it through the universe.
Exactly. It
Yeah.
was so crazy how that happened.
Yeah,
That's when
like
you know
what
that you're really on the right path. Sorry. That's when
yeah.
you just, I
I
mean,
think, you know, the stars were in
yeah.
line. The first was selling me, you know, because it was starting a new business, funding it yourself, and then you're like, it's a new concept. Nobody really knows much about it. In a town that it's in the middle of a pandemic, there are so many variables that are going against me. And then for me, it was more like, you know, if we keep waiting for someone else to do it, I mean, we just got the climate report. It's just
Mhm.
never gonna be enough if we keep waiting.
Yeah. Yeah, start now. Yeah,
Yeah.
my bio store that I was going to refill closed down after the pandemic.
Oh.
So it's like, you know, I'm gonna just be honest, like I mean, I go there here and there to get like my nuts and, you know, like different seasonings and stuff. Since they closed, it's kind of like now I'm back to going back to the store because there's nothing by me and I don't have a car and I can't like drive further because the only refill places that are more in like the more popular centralized areas of the city of Madrid. So it's like now I'm like stuck again, you know, going back to the store. So if you have any tips on like things that I could do, or I guess borrow a friend's car, you know, going to the
It's funny
grocery,
that
you
I
know,
have a sister who lives in DC, and her friends are like really into this, or they're like they want to be into it, but
yeah,
again, have
a
accessibility.
lifestyle.
I've been looking into like sustainable packaging, but not the way that you think, right? Everyone, FedEx will say that, yeah, we have compostable bags, but people don't know what that actually means. You can't. That doesn't mean you throw it in the landfills and it'll
Mhm.
just compost. It actually has to go with into composting and all that stuff, right?
And then
And
there's the levels of like at home compost versus, yeah.
yeah, there's a lot, exactly. And you have to like
Hmm.
cut it. There's so many things, so much more than just saying that we have green packaging. So I'm looking into actually, I found a few options where it's actually like, you know, made out of, I don't even know what it is, but the way I would think about it is like a fluffy IKEA bag. You know how IKEA has that, like, so it's like a more like padded bag, and you can reuse it, and it goes back to the site where it comes from, and then they sanitize it and send it back to you. So that's an option that I'm looking into, because I think that, again, it needs to be accessible, but it's very hard because there aren't a lot of this. And to be quite frank, if we want to become green, it really needs to start with supply chain, with big companies, and that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
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 Or it's not going to be happening fast enough, shall I say.
Yeah. But I mean, the right people are finding you now. So that's really awesome.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you got to start small.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, my whole dream is to become the next Trader Joe's, right?
Amazing.
First was like Whole Foods, and then they got bought out. And then Trader Joe's is still standing strong, and they have great products, but a lot of packaging.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's some like in like Canada called like Bulk Barn. But I would love to like have a huge store one day where it's like one-stop shop. Actually, my dream is to have a mall, because I'm a Jersey girl. So where it's is like a different, like, you know, a thrift store. Hold on one second. Someone's here.
Yeah, so cool.
Yeah. Really awesome.
Yeah, you know, it's always with like zero waste, it's like not about being super perfect, you know, it's about doing like what you can. So like you said, like, oh, you know, when you're able to, you go and get the nuts and the spices, and those are the ones that you can get like in that packaging. So that's like what you end up doing.
Yeah. So special. Well, we'll let you go. Thank you so much today. And we'll be sure
I did have a few more questions, but do you have to go? Or I did have like
That's fine.
okay.
Yeah.
I thought you gotta go for a customer.
Yeah, okay, so I just want, so, you know, we love, Laura said it before, we love supporting like the BIPOC community, and we know you are a woman of color, and so, yeah, we just want to know like what kind of challenges being like a woman of color as an entrepreneur, did you discover any, did you come across any, like, or has it been pretty?
No, but it's funny when people do come in here and I'm working, and then they're like, they find out I'm the owner, they're always a little shocked, but I take it as a compliment. Maybe they think I'm like very young and that I've taken this risk. But other than that, like, no, I feel like this is why I did Morristown, because I've been living here for so long and I understand the demographics. So it was, for me, I knew that this was a nice town to start in.
Yeah.
Really awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, and so I know you said that you still do supply chain management. You're still working, so you're doing two jobs. How are you juggling the two?
So I will say that, like, if I was a housewife, my tagline would be, "I'm the busiest bored person you'll ever meet." So what I mean by that is, like, I optimize my time. So when I was working remote, if you going into the office, getting ready, all that nonsense time was cut out, and you like work and you actually get your stuff done, and then you actually have more time to, you know, do other things. And that's where I came up with this, right? So if it wasn't for the pandemic, if it wasn't for realizing how much I wasted and being remote, this wouldn't have come to fruition as quickly as it has. Because it was an idea in June and I opened in December. So that's really, like, I'm really good at juggling a lot of balls in the air.
So cool. Your hustle is
Awesome.
inspiring.
Yeah. Hell yeah, for sure. Oh, well, yeah, well, thank you so much, Sabrina, for your time and for the tour of your beautiful store.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. And for anyone who's watching, please follow 02180 Market. If you're ever in the New Jersey area, check out our online store and follow them. And you're watching the Conscious Kitchen podcast. We are a conscious podcast. We talk about all things wellness. We just did one about mushrooms and ethical foraging. We love conscious conversation. So go ahead and follow us on Apple, Spotify. We stream worldwide, anywhere streaming services are available. So be sure to follow us. Thank you so much, Sabrina.
Thanks, Sabrina. Have an amazing day. We look forward to following your adventures and your continued success.
Yeah. Thank you much. Have a good
Oh,
one.
thank
Thanks, babe.
you.
Take care. Bye.
So nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Bye.